ESPN asked 100 media members in its first MVP straw poll of the season, and Curry currently ranks 7th within the first place of the vote. At the top is LeBron with 53 first-place votes, followed by Joel Embiid, Jokic, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, and Giannis. Big Perk back here with us. Max, where do you think Steph should rank right now in the MVP race?
I think he should be a notch higher than what he is. I'd put him ahead of Giannis because Steph's outside shooting is so absurd that he's creating space for everyone as usual in a team where going into the year I said should really has below average shooting at every position. There's no starter who even shoots average for their position except for Steph is having guys hit shots that don't normally hit shots at that rate. Because like what happened to Draymond early on in the kind of explosion of the Splash Brothers with Steph and Clay, Dre started hitting threes. He just had so much time to do it. So he's having that kind of ripple effect that makes up for the defense that Giannis can play at his size and also Giannis's offensive contributions. But I wouldn't, and I like the list that we have. I would put Embiid 1 at this moment, LeBron 2, Jokic, KD, and Kawhi. A caller to my radio show yesterday, Kendrick Perkins, you were on the Max Kellerman Show on ESPN Radio, 2 p.m. Eastern yesterday. A caller to my radio show brought up Kawhi as an MVP. And it's funny because he's kind of flown under the radar. And I think what's happening with Kawhi and with Giannis is people are like, we saw what happened in the playoffs last year. Stop. Right? They want them to prove something that they can't yet prove in this season. But if you look at Kawhi Leonard, whose team has 18 wins, they just won against Minnesota, like without Paul George, who plays defense, obviously, we all know Kawhi Leonard, who's averaging, about 27 points a game, but with 6 assists and 5 boards and 2 steals. And by the way, he doesn't shoot it like Steph because no one ever has. But Kawhi is almost a 50, 40, 90 guy. He's over 50% from the field, over 40% from 3. He takes 5 a game, and he's almost at 90% from the line. So he's also an extremely efficient offensive player. I would have Steph. We have him 6th. I'd have him. Sorry, ESPN have him 7th. I'd have him 6th.
Well, you're wrong, Max. And I would have Steph Curry top 5 in the MVP conversation. Matter of fact, I do have Steph Curry top 5 in the MVP conversation. I actually have him ranked 4th behind Big Jokic, Big Embiid, and LeBron James. And here's why. When you look at Steph Curry right now, and I said this before the season started, that I thought Steph Curry was going to have an MVP type season, but I didn't know he was going to do it to this fashion. If you look at his stats right now, it's one of his best seasons of his career. It's compared to 2015. They are identical. He's averaging 30 points, 5.5 rebounds, almost 6 assists a game, and he's on the task shooting 50% from the field. Now, when I look at this Warriors team, and I look at the personnel that they have there, no disrespect to Draymond Green because he's a star in his role. I think Andrew Wiggins have been playing phenomenal basketball, solid basketball in his role as well. But if you take Steph off this Golden State Warriors team, they would be the worst team in the league. They would be in the lottery, literally. He's literally single-handedly carrying this team, putting up monster numbers every single night. He was 10 for 19 last night from the 3. I mean, he just went on a tear, completely took over the game, got them back into the game in the 3rd quarter to go ahead and blow it open and win the game. So when I'm looking at what Steph is doing, this is one of his best seasons of his career. And without him on this team, the Golden State Warriors would be the worst team in the league or in the lottery.
Well, I'm not going to argue too strenuously against Steph as a top 5 MVP candidate because I think you can make the argument. Let me tell you why I don't. Like, I respect putting him in the top 5 because of the impact he's having on a team that, you're right, would be a lottery team without him. I don't like to hold guys, teammates against them, whether, if they're good. So a lot of times in an MVP conversation, you say, well, he's on a squad that's no good. I'm going to give him extra points. It's not Kawhi or LeBron or Embiid's fault that they're playing on good teams. Let me tell you why I don't have him in the top 5. Here's my list. Embiid 1 at this moment. LeBron 2. Jokic, KD, Kawhi. And by the way, the dude right after Steph, for me, is Giannis. And of those 7 guys, they all have big defensive impact. Big defensive impact. That's half the game. So they also have offensive impact. Even if you want to argue Steph has an even greater offensive impact because of the space he creates and how efficient he is, you could argue that. But these guys are in that conversation on that end of the floor. And on the other end of the floor, Steph's not in the conversation with them. Even Jokic, who doesn't have a reputation as a defender, has a defensive influence on the game because of his size and because he's worked on that side of his game. So I don't think Steph's offense is enough to offset these elite scorers and playmakers who also are elite defenders. Embiid, LeBron, these guys are elite Kawhi, elite defenders.
Well, Max, let me say this. Let me say why I give Steph a whole lot of credit. Because all the MVP candidates that's right now the front runners for MVP, Steph is the only one that is not playing with a certified Robin. He does not have another superstar alongside of him. You look at LeBron James right now, he has Anthony Davis. You look at Kawhi Leonard, he has Paul George. You look at Jokic, he has Jamal Murray. You look at Joel Embiid, he has Ben Simmons. Steph Curry, who does he have? He's single-handedly carrying this Warriors team and doing it in great fashion. I know it's a great point. That's why I brought it up.
He is. You're right. No, it's a good point. I didn't say a great point. I said it's a good point. But I'll say this. He has done it he's done it to the tune of 14 wins. Like, of everyone we're talking about, his team has won least on the list. So it's understandable because of the roster he's dealing with. And maybe if his team had a better one-loss record than Kawhi's team, given that Kawhi has a much better team than Steph, I would agree with you. But they don't. All these other guys' teams have won more, yes, because of the supporting cast. So when you're trying to isolate the value of the player, on offense, I would say if it was just an offensive conversation, damn, you might even say Steph is number one on this list if it was just offense. But the other guys are right there with him. But when you start talking defense, Perk, he's not with the other guys. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.